Yes. I told what is the necessity thing? Telephone. Yes. We need the digital links and we need the wireless communication, right? Yes. Where it is collecting the data, from the form it is collecting the data, it is going back. Yes. Where it is going? It is going to the particular person from, because it's collecting the data from the field and it is giving to the owner, right, form owner, and then it is given to the nutrition management, and there it is going and they will just suggest that one, and again all the data collection is again coming to that people who has to take the final decision, right? If I am the owner of the land, if I am the owner of the land, final decision is taken by me based upon the data I have collected and the experience which I have to take the decisions, right? So geography context, starting from a point and coming to a point, right? Drawing like a circle, spatial spider, and we are coming, the curve is coming closer to the point we are coming, right? So that's the thing, first one, geography context. Using technology, geography context, the spatial spider, using IT technology only you are using. Technology is used, right? How do you do the transformation? Using the internet connection only. Yes. See, simply if I am keeping a computer in the farm, how do I collect the data? Through wireless communication, right? And then I am using IoT technology, right? That means internet is used. So the ground-based sensors when you are coming, we will be using what is the challenges. So IT technology is used, internet is used, right? Internet of things, right? See, earlier Bluetooth was used, right? Only it will just cover only 10 meters, like this much distance alone. Then they use what? Zigbee. That is also covering only less area. So now internet of things is used, right? So which covers the entire world itself. Anywhere I can switch on and off. Anywhere I can control from remote things, right? Yes or no? So that's why IT means IoT, Internet of Things plays an important role. So the challenges which we are facing, we will be discussing here. Okay, are you able to follow? What is the next topic we have seen?
Surveying management.
Surveying management. We cannot use the entire field to do this analyzing work. So we are dividing into survey. Okay? It is not, the form area is not continuous, it is discontinuous. Right? The next one what we have seen is data warehouse. For a particular person, they can approach any of the research centers and they will analyze and give the data. What plant you have to grow, how much water resources is needed, about the soil nutrition we plant, suppose apple also sometimes it might grow, but the yield will be very less. So it's a waste of money. So the regional management is also very important. So the moisture of the soil, fertilizer need, everything has to be analyzed in that regional sources also, and based upon that we have to cultivate the plants. Okay, so this much only we have studied in the previous classes. So today's class we are going to the ground-based sensors. So what do you mean by sensor? What do you mean by sensor? Sensor. What is sensor? See, in the lab, what type of sensor is there in our lab? Input analysis. What is a sensor? I'm just simply asking. What is a sensor? So it's what type of device it is? Sensor is what type of device? Only sensing is what type of device is? Electrical, communication, electronics, so many types of devices, right? It comes under what type? It's not communication, it's an electronic device, right? Used for the purpose alone. It's an electronic device only, but see, what type of sensors and all you have last time seen in the IoT lab? What type of sensor did you see in our IoT lab? IoT lab, what type of sensors you saw last time?
Ultrasonic.
Yes?
Ultrasonic.
Yes, ultrasonic. Ultrasonic sensors are there. Humidity and temperature. See, for humidity and temperature, single sensor only, right? DHT11 and DHT22, two types of sensor is there to measure the humidity and temperature. DHT11 alone is available in our thing. See, certain types of sensor, what it is different means accuracy. If we just see DHT11 temperature sensor, the cost is only 40 rupees. If we go for DHT22 temperature and humidity sensor, we go for the purchase, it is 60 rupees. Okay? The more thing is accuracy in collection of data, we get more in DHT22. But we have, see, how do you know the sensor is working actually? Listen here. The sensor, how it is working or not, in our laboratory the problem is we cannot test. See, if the program goes wrong, we doesn't know whether the program is wrong or the sensor is wrong, because it has to show the temperature and humidity. The problem, so in many colleges what they do means they fit a LED on the top. Okay, so if the sensor is sensing the particular device means the LED will glow. Okay, even in the Arduino, if you see, if the switch, once if we connect the input device, automatically a light will start glowing. If it is glowing only, it is able to sense over the data. We know the particular Arduino is working. If it is not showing the light, we can see it is not working in condition, because sensor is an input device which has to work. So we have to know whether which is going wrong. So that's why, but in our electronic lab, they didn't fix that, because when it is naturally, when you purchase that one, they don't have the LED, because it's 40 rupees only, right? So after that we have to, that means we have to fix the LED, just to know that whether the sensor is like small program, we can run and see temperature changes. 3 o'clock the temperature changes. 5 o'clock the temperature is different. So real time. Real time is it is keeping on changing on time. So whenever the time changes, the temperature and humidity also changes. Okay. So that's why it is called as real time sensor. It is able to sense the humidity and temperature and shows the difference. Once if we fix, see, simply if I am having, listen here, simply if I am having a sensor without an IoT devices, is it usable? No. How, where I am connecting, see, sensor only act as an input device. That's the data which is collected from the sensor is displayed where we are having, see, you have to remember sensor, what it is doing, it is collecting the, listen, it is collecting the information and it is transforming the information to a signal, right? It is conforming into a signal. Once it is converted into a signal, like an analog signal only, we can process the signal. That means it's converting into digital. Whenever you are processing the data, what you are doing? We are converting the analog signals to, because all natural signals are only analog. Okay? See, after this I will ask question. Keep it in mind. So, analog signal, it is converted to digital signals for processing. So, whenever we are using a sensor, we can see the computer, because computer is the best example of a digital system. Right? Whenever we give an input as an analog, it converts because it's a machine. So it cannot understand that. So it is converting into the machine language which is digital. So it is displayed. You see, where we can see the display, we can see the display even in our mobile as well as in the computer. So we have to write a program and we have to interface the computer, right, with the sensor. Without interfacing of that sensor, all these links, right, we cannot do anything. So we can even see, not only in the computer, we can see in the mobile. When you are using the computer, nearly if you are connecting the device, that it is wired. When you are using a mobile phone and seeing the data from the remote place, it is wireless communication. So the communication can be wired communication, it can be wireless communication. When I am collecting the data in the computer nearby, that place I can use the computer. So later when I have to see in the mobile, which is a wireless communication. See, you have to remember the data are displayed also and we can just store the information also, right? So sensor is nothing but an electronic device, okay, which collects the information, which acts as an input device to collect the information and we can process the data, we can store the data, we can display the data and we can control the data also, okay. So that is the purpose of a sensor, okay. So here what do you mean by ground based sensor? Means the sensors which are used for soils. That's why it is called as ground based sensors. Like what are the things we have to measure in the soil when it is needed? Moisture content, that means the pH level we have to know. That means water necessity. See, whenever we are building a house, what is the first thing they are doing? Soil is only, because in certain soils, if they say, we have to dig here depth we have to dig for having a good foundation, right? Otherwise, after building the house, it will collapse. So, first thing, in certain places they will say, we have to dig very in a depth the foundation more than in other places, so that we will have a good foundation. Okay, so where first thing is the soil moisture we have to see. Then what are the other things we will see in the soil? Yes, how much, that means nutrition content available in that particular soil. See, in certain soils if you see, without applying fertilizers or anything, pesticides or anything, automatically the plant will grow well. Have you seen? Because the soil has that nutrition content. So we have to check the nutrition content of the soil. We have to see the moisture content of the soil, right? Then the air pressure of the soil, right? See, in certain places, if you just dig the things, it will be very, very difficult. That means the soil is very hot. So how much pressure we have inside that particular ground? Okay, air pressure. See, they say, right? After certain level, if you go, there will not be any air, and after certain height also, there is no air. So what they do, they sense, right, using the sensor, air flow sensor, they sense the air content. That means how much pressure is necessary should be given inside the thing. Then mechanical sensors are also used in ground. Why do you need mechanical sensor as a ground-based sensor? Why do you use the mechanical sensors? Monitor. Yes, mechanical sensors is needed for what purpose? Yes. So we have to do anything. Crop cultivation means we have to dig the sand also. So that sand, whenever you have to do, that means the hotness we have to know. So the mechanical sensors will give you that details. Okay, that is also very, very important, right? See, certain things and all, if you see, if you use a small machine, it will cut everything, right? So the cutting, all that works, we have to use the mechanical sensor. According to that, the drilling machine has to be brought. See, certain things, if you see, the soil is very easy, we can use that way machine. So if the soil is not good, so what will happen? Whenever they are digging, you would have seen, right? Whenever in the mines, they use a very heavy machines because of that particular things, right? The ordinary machines will not be able to dig that. So according to that mechanical sensors we use, it will show what type of this we have to use for cutting everything. Cutting, we have to do the cutting for cultivation of plant. So that is done by the mechanical sensor. Then why do you need optical sensors in agriculture? Optical sensors are also we are using here. Why? What do you mean by optical sensor? Optical meaning the word is light. So how do you pass the light? Where do you fix? Simply where do you have to fix the sensor? Optical sensors in satellites. Okay, drones and all, they are fixing this optical sensor by penetrations of the light waves. Okay, so optical means it's a light wave. So they are using the light waves. That means and sensing. So whenever they are using a satellite, right? From satellites they are doing, and then they are using the drones, right? So the drones and all directly cannot do it in the ground, right? So for that they are using this optical sensor. That means the color, chromophil color of the leaves, all that can be done using this optical sensors. So directly to wireless satellite also we can do. See, satellite directly cannot come and do everything. Just it can use that sensor and can do from a remote place or from the top, right? So ground-based sensor, actually what it does? Yes, it goes deep. That means in the soil itself we can keep this sensor. Only if we keep sensor we cannot do anything. Yes or no? So sensor should be connected to the IoT devices, right? So directly also everything we cannot do. We have the interfacing device. That's what I said. It's a link is that, right? And then we can do all these things. Are you able to follow? So what are the things we have to remember under a sensor? What is a sensor? What are the various types of sensor? And what are the sensors which are used in as a ground-based sensor? Whenever you are using a ground-based sensor, what is the advantage you are getting in this one? Now again, what is the challenge in using the IoT information technology in agriculture when you are using the sensors? Can anyone say, just think and say what is the challenge we will be facing, especially the farmers in the rural areas, what they will, that means village people, what they will do it, what will be the challenge whenever IT technology. You have to say what is the challenge we'll be facing here.